Well fetched by Charlie Redmond. Suddenly there's a gap in front of him. Reminiscent of the run of Kieran Duff last year. This is Duff. Blocked down on this occasion by Robbie O'Malley.
The Leinster football final between Meath and Dublin. The expectations of both sets of supporters high this afternoon as all roads led to Croke Park for this latest instalment in the epic drama the provincial decider has become between these two counties. Yes, the Meath Miners applauding the senior team out onto the pitch at Croke Park. The Miners had won their final. Could the seniors make it the perfect day for Meath? Well, we'll be bringing you the action from this pulsating game in just a few moments. But first, though, let me introduce our panellist tonight. And in fact, we saw him on the programme last weekend. Well, that was when he captained his county Roscommon to their first Connacht Championship success in a decade and had the honour of lifting the Nestor Cup. Well, we are, of course, talking about Paul Early. Well, Paul, you're welcome to the programme once again, and congratulations on last weekend. Now, Paul was with me at Croke Park this afternoon. We'll be getting his views on the big game a little bit later on, and also his man of the match selection. But first, it's time to welcome Miles Dungan back from his Alca holidays. Now, he's got the headlines of the day in sport and there, looking tanned. Well, today's Leinster final was the fifth in a row between Meath and Dublin. But despite the fact that there was nothing really in the pairing, these two finals have always managed to generate great anticipation, even amongst neutrals. Well, this time it was Dublin who went into the game as champions, but keeping in mind that Meath, who recently won the National League title, they knew that there would be very little in it again this year. And the rival supporters heading to the big match were also eagerly expecting a ding-dong battle. Here's Jim Carney.
Well, the sun may have gone in, but it's still a glorious occasion. Croke Park, big match atmosphere, Dublin and Meath, great rivals. The fans in good voice looking forward to a great game, and the fans of both teams, as always, friends as well as friendly rivals. Now, Jimmy here from Oldcastle. Jimmy, what's the verdict? I know you're a great Meath supporter.
Last year, Mick Lyons was the big loss to us last year, and I'd say that's the reason we lost it as the final last year. But Mick Lyons is back this year. But we have a bigger loss this year with Liam Harnan not in centre half back. But the man that's replacing him, Martin O'Connell, will do his job today. And I'd say Meath, it'll be a good, hard fought game, and I'd say it'll be 2 or 3 points at the end. And I'd say Meath will just about do it.
5 or 6 points today, the Dubs will win. 8 points, no problem. Up there, Dubs!
I think what's going to be the deciding factor in the game today is centre field, and Meath have the edge there today with Liam Hayes and Colin Brady, and that's going to swing it in Meath's favour.
I think Dublin will look to John McNally today because he's a superb catcher of the ball and he's in great form. He's in great form and he'll get a good few scores for Dublin today. And also Charlie Redmond, who's great. We're from Finglas and he's from Finglas. We're shouting for Charlie Redmond.
The return of Mick Lyons today was going to swing it for Meath. We missed him last year, we have him the year, and the team is back, fully convinced that Colin O'Rourke's going to take that cup home.
Definitely. Key men take on pivotal roles in this Leinster final. Tommy Carr for champions Dublin reverts to the number 6 shirt following a spell in the Dublin attack, while Martin O'Connell takes over at the heart of the Meath defence in place of the injured Liam Harnan. Here's a check on the teams. Dublin with a number of switches from the semi-final. Vinnie Murphy, free of suspension, is right half forward. Charlie Redmond, free of injury, is on the opposite flank, while David Foran is back at midfield alongside Paul Clark. For Meath, utility man Brendan Riley takes the number 7 shirt in place of O'Connell. Colin Brady continues his partnership with Liam Hayes in midfield, while Tommy Dowd is named at left half forward for his first Leinster final. And there's a switch right at the very start of the game. In fact, before the game, Kevin Foley has gone centre half back as Paddy Collins, one of the game's most respected officials, referee of 4 All-Ireland finals, gets his 6th Leinster final underway. And it's Meath who play into the wind with Colin Brady here. Bernard Flynn. Tricky angle trying to set up PJ Gillick. Back to Brady. A dangerous one for John O'Leary. And it's in. Colin O'Rourke has scored a goal in Meath's very first attack. Dublin waiting, perhaps expecting a free out. It was perfectly fair as Brady floated it in. The wind held up the ball somewhat. John O'Leary was in something of a dither. Watch for the run in. A perfectly fair challenge and a perfectly good goal by Colm O'Rourke after 30 seconds. Well, that's a brilliant start for the challengers today. Croke Park still buzzing after that score. Keith Barr with the free for Dublin. Deep one towards Charlie Redmond. Shoulder by Mick Lyons, a foul, and that's going to be a free in for Dublin. Redmond was sandwiched. This is Charlie Redmond trying to break free of the shackles there of Martin O'Connell, and two of them came in, and Lyons is the one I think eventually the referee has given the free against. Kieran Duff to glide it over the crossbar for Dublin's opening point. Both these teams tremendous rivals, of course, as Hayes wins the free. This is the sixth final involving Meath and Dublin in the last 7 years. Rising up for it, and that's Tommy Dowd. Newcomer, one of 4 newcomers to the Leinster final, the Meath team. Here he concedes the sideline ball to Meath. Colm O'Rourke the taker. Dublin a little slack in getting back. David Beggy right outside towards PJ Gillick, the 23-year-old turning inside. Stafford coming well out from his full forward role. Challenged by Paul Clark. Accuracy personified by Brian Stafford. His first kick, his first point, and there's a goal between the teams. Nicely gathered. It was beautifully taken. Punted clear, however, by Colm Brady. Tommy Dowd. Slack pass. Here's Carr. Gathered by Robbie O'Malley. O'Connell's kick, easily read and easily taken by Mick Deegan. Here's Mick Lyons, who was forced to miss last year's Leinster final because of a fractured leg. Great-hearted defender. Towards Colm Brady, good call there. Bernard Flynn, the target man. Well, they're not standing on ceremony. It's a really intense clash, as expected. Taken beautifully. Here's Clancy. Free in for Dublin. Paddy Collins, the match referee. Kieran Duff. It's a very elementary task of tapping over the crossbar. His second point of the match. So 2 points the margin. Beautifully fetched by Liam Hayes, providing the leadership and the bit of inspiration towards Colm O'Rourke, whose jersey was pulled for a moment. The referee has spotted it as well. Tommy Carr kicks it away, but there was no question. There was a foul on Colm O'Rourke by Mick Kennedy. So Brian Stafford with his second free kick of this 101st Leinster Senior Football Final. Straight over the top. Restoring Meath's 1-goal lead. Simple technique applied by Brian Stafford. All concentration. He almost side foots it high and over the top. Here a little slow to react. Dowd towards Colm O'Rourke. Cut out, however, by Mick Kennedy. Expecting a bit of support in the corner back position. The only one he could aim it at was Tommy Carr, and the angle was tight for the pass. Slack marking. PJ Gillick here. Simple scoring opportunity, and he avails of it. Gets his first point of the game as well. A real strapping 23-year-old. The marking was exceptionally slack. Remember, Tommy Carr had gone out just a moment ago to try and take a pass, and he couldn't get back in the middle to cut down the leeway for Gillick. Touchdown here to David Peggy for Martin O'Connell. Meath doing all the hard work, making the running in this opening half. This is Bernard Flynn, bidding to win back their championship. Players calling for it across on the far side. Martin O'Connell, despite the number 6 playing right half back, here he is. Going for a pot himself and going for a point. An excellent point by the St Michael's lad. A really good start by the league champions. 17 minutes gone and they're all playing so confidently, and Dublin allowing them so much space to be creative and set up attacking scores, and O'Connell just needed a little bit of leeway, and from a fair distance out, easily 40 metres, he slots it over. McDeegan called but didn't collect. Gillick towards Bernard Flynn. Corner back is out of the way. Shooting chance for Bernard Flynn. Dublin being very, very cautious with that high ball. Remember the goal after 30 seconds. It's Dowd again. Gillick trying to get it forward towards Liam Hayes. The strong man in midfield is taken down by Charlie Redmond. Redmond called across by referee Paddy Collins, warning him about the high challenge. Neck high, really. Struck with effortless ease from the free by Brian Stafford. He's pointed his 4th free. John Kerry O'Donnell has travelled all the way from New York. They've come from everywhere to see this year's Leinster final. Tommy Carr. Dublin really stretched to the back just at the moment. Fisted clear by Mick Lyons, playing a tremendous match. Paul Clark slightly off balance, but that looks a beauty. Dublin has needed a point like that, and Paul Clark, the former minor captain, has given them that piece of inspiration, their first point from play. From way out on the far side, racing forward. Controlled it with some difficulty, and despite the attentions of Colm Brady, he got in a very good kick. David Foran. Paul Clark once again. Not in the A1 position that he intended. Here he having to go back and make up some ground. Terry Ferguson in a challenge over there with Niall Clancy. It comes down to Charlie Redmond, and Dublin has scored the last 2 points. Aaron's out. Charlie Redmond gets his first point. Dublin's 4th. Tommy Carr just manages to fist it down, but only as far as Bernard Flynn. Colm O'Rourke is making a run through the middle. This is O'Rourke. A goal chance here. Oh, he's missed a glorious chance. Well, he'll be so angry with himself. Colm O'Rourke, who played in his first Leinster final back in 1976, a player of great experience. He hit it well, but well outside the target. Oh, they're wondering how that one stayed out. Stafford. Well, that'll make up in part, at least for the one that got away. Brian Stafford kicks his first point from play, his 5th in all. 1-7 to 4 points. And Barney Rock is coming into the match. He may not be fully fit, but it's a case of bringing in a man with a proven record, from frees in particular, from play as well, and so Rock is in and Clancy's off. PJ Gillick, it's cut out over by Eamon Heary on his own 45-metre line, challenged by David Beggy. Ooh, a sweeping, lunging kick that time by Heary. And it'll be interesting to see what action the referee takes now. Hasn't booked anyone so far. Faces in the crowd, considering the situation and just wondering how this game is going to go. PJ Gillick is the only Meath man to have won Leinster medals at senior, junior, under 21 and minor. Back on his feet. No booking. This is Keith Barr. Oh, that's a long one, a huge one. Again, brilliantly gathered by the cover back there, Robbie O'Malley. Martin O'Connell kept moving on. The challenge there by Heary, who is well fired up at this stage. A fair shoulder, he says. The referee concurs. Both sides really wanting to win this tie so badly. A fair shoulder, the referee ruled. Sideline ball. A minute before half-time, Vinnie Murphy gathering. Dublin needing a couple of scores. This is Paul Clark. And another fine, expertly kicked point by Paul Clark. A second for the half. He really is leading by example. Fed out to him by Vinnie Murphy, and Clark always there waiting, taking the responsibility on his shoulders. And he really was accurate. Forward. Tommy Carr as Dublin tried to command at centre field, and this time it's Tommy Dowd who challenges Keith Barr high, and a flashpoint just on the call of half-time, and a referee who's been in command of the situation so far, isolating Tommy Dowd on this occasion, the player playing in his first Leinster final. He's isolated him, the notebook out, and no question about it, it's a bookable offence. The fight which had developed off the ball has been calm for just a moment. Stern warning for Tommy Dowd. This was the head-high challenge on Keith Barr. Barr can take the free himself. Another lengthy ball delivered down towards Joe McNally. Fisted outside towards Mick Galvin. Hasn't seen much of the action so far. It's blocked down by Kevin Foley. Fetched by Bobby O'Malley. Fed out to Colin Brady. A Meath side which has looked the sharper, and at half-time they lead by a goal and 2 points against the game Dublin team. The all-important goal coming after 30 seconds by Colm O'Rourke. Brian Stafford tagged on 5 points. Dublin making something of a recovery, getting 5 points of their own at half-time. It's Meath 1-7, Dublin 5 points. We're looking forward to what we hope will be an excellent second half. Welcome back to the second half here in Croke Park, as Meath, appearing in their 40th Leinster final, lead by 1-7 to 5 points at half-time. Paddy Collins set to get the second half underway, and it's Meath now who play from right to left. Colm O'Rourke in the thick of the action straight away. That's down to Bernard Flynn, looking for the opening score of the second half, having got the first in the first half. They get the first in the second half after 12 seconds. Bernard Flynn's first point, 1-8 to 5 points. What a lightning start that was. Well, whenever Meath get that ball into their forwards, they always seem to have the potential to get those scores. Dublin, by comparison, labouring whenever that ball is knocked into their forward line. This is Flynn once again. As he pulled, advantage allowed. Tommy Dowd making a run across. Mick Kennedy has allowed Colm O'Rourke some latitude, which O'Rourke is unable to avail of on this occasion. Liam Hayes picking it up in midfield, making some ground, fouled. Paul Clark anxious not to concede any yardage. It's going to be a free from the ground for Brian Stafford. That is the 45-metre line, and Hayes the one who made the incision. Five points his tally from the first half, 4 of those coming from frees. Breeze behind him now, remember. Again, it's an exquisite kick. An outstanding precision shot by a master marksman. Fisted down, Tommy Carr a little slow to react. PJ Gillick picking it up, making some good ground. The support from Colm O'Rourke. A real hit and hope one. And it's well to have such faith. Colm O'Rourke with a goal and a point to his credit. Well, like a magnet, he almost knew where the target was, got that pass, fed across to him, one little look up, one quick little shot, and a deadly finish. Tommy Carr. A real test of the character and determination and spirit of this Dublin team now. PJ Gillick. Meath giving a tremendous display of football. Fed inside. Hayes going forward, despite the attentions of David Foran. Breaks loose, hit well, and Keith Barr is the one who gets it loose and clear. Dublin living on their nerves. An unfair challenge on Tommy Carr by PJ Gillick. David Beggy was the one who had the goal chance presented to him by this fine penetrating run by Liam Hayes as the ball broke loose. That was Beggy getting in, and the goalkeeper got down smartly, couldn't contain it, but Barr was on hand. Colin Brady. PJ Gillick. Here's Charlie Redmond. First meaningful attack, and yet another free kick. That now is a total of 32 free kicks that referee Paddy Collins has awarded, and we're only 7 minutes into the second half. There's Leo Close, a wing forward coming in, handing over the little slip of paper, and Kieran Duff is the one who's been taken off. Kieran Duff had an unhappy afternoon. Off he goes, replaced by Leo Close. Barney Rock brought on for his free kick taking abilities, feeding it inside. Vinnie Murphy. And that's high, and that's put over the bar. The very first point by Leo Close, having come on just a moment ago. First attack, first score. All of that coming from Barney Rock's flighted free kick. Vinnie Murphy held it. It was half blocked down, not as far as Leo Close, reacted smartly, and a good shot over the crossbar. Kevin Foley. Here's Tommy Dowd. Looks so anxious for the fray. Despite the push, managed to make some headway. Then committed the foul himself, free to Dublin. That's aimed towards Leo Close against Kevin Foley. There's support from David Foran. The ball is needed in quickly. Foran holding on just a little bit too long. Leo Close realising that Dublin needing a score quickly. A goal would do an awful lot for the match. That high challenge there. And it's Liam Hayes who's crawled across, and he becomes the third player to have his name taken in this Leinster final. This was that foul once again. Leo Close going forward, and that's the high challenge by Hayes, which has been outlawed. That's the 20-metre line. Dublin needing a point here, and Barney can provide it. His first point since coming in as a first-half substitute. So 2 goals the difference. The Meath fans, I think, have felt that their team has had this match won, and now all of a sudden they're having to live on their nerves somewhat. tremendous rivalry between these two counties, has been for a number of years. One of the most intense Leinster finals for years. Keith Barr wanting somebody to come near him and then create an opening inside. He's gone for the point himself, and that's 3 points in succession now. That first one there for Keith Barr. He's such a good kicker of a ball, normally from the ground. That was a lovely deep one, and up on the hill, all of a sudden they see their team come within a goal and a point of Meath. Great leap in the air by Liam Hayes. Controlling it well despite the attentions of 3, 4, or is it 5 Dubliners. Hayes doing well. An opportunity as well to take some of the pressure off his beleaguered defence. From a long way out. Off the post and down. Meath's second wide of this second half. The wind holding up that ball somewhat. Keith Barr having to go back. Oh, dangerously trying to link up with Tommy Carr. It could have gone anywhere. Secure, however. Dublin breaking once again in the figure of Mick Deegan. And you just wonder in the last couple of minutes whether this Meath team has extended themselves to such an extent in the opening 40 minutes that they might well be allowing Dublin in for a late flurry. Mick Kennedy's kick. Again the wind, which is very strong, holds it up. It reaches Vinnie Murphy. Hayes trying to get back goal side. Support from Barney Rock. Only 4 points between them. Meath the leaders. David Foran outside of the boot, held by Joe McNally. Awkward angle, high and over the bar, and this is the goal of the game. Joe McNally from St. Anne's getting his first point of the afternoon, and what a vital one it is. Now trying to rally the forward line in particular. Finally in the second half, the Dublin machine has started to pick off its scores. For so long it was all Meath, but all of a sudden now it's all Dublin. And that was Joe McNally, his first score. The hill alive, 110 to 10 points the position, a goal in the game. Colin Brady hasn't been as dominant in the second half, as Dublin really have taken something of a grip at midfield. Leo Close is fouled by Brendan Riley. Barney Rock the free taker. The wind blowing into his face, a strong breeze at that. A kick from 40 metres. 4 points the margin. Battled for inside there by Vinnie Murphy. Inside towards the substitute Leo Close. Meath disciplined and containing the Dublin attack. Spills out towards Heary. Challenged by Robbie O'Malley. A foul by Robbie O'Malley, and the referee with the notebook out. We've had 3 bookings already in the game, 2 of them for Meath, 1 for Dublin. And this is going to be a third Meath booking. Watch for this sliding challenge. Quite uncompromising there on Eamon Heary. Surely 2 of the top 3 teams in the country in action in this Leinster final. Barney Rock has the chance to cut the leeway. He's put it over the bar. Barney has now kicked 3 points, and there's just a goal in the game. That goal which came in the opening 30 seconds of the match. Poor kick out, because the pressure is now back on Meath once again. There are just over 12 minutes to go. A goal in the match. Keith Barr. And the referee may well decide to hop the ball, because it was a stalemate situation just inside Dublin's 20-metre line. Leo Close and Martin O'Connell, the two players who'll be involved. Barry Ferguson wanting a piece of the action as well. Possession vital at this stage for both teams. Martin O'Connell, secure, but the pass reaches David Foran. In towards Joe McNally. Player with a good pair of hands. It spills down, breaks loose. Vinnie Murphy looking for a point and getting it. And now there's just 2 points between the teams. Vinnie Murphy's first point this afternoon. Celebration time now for Dublin. It's been a very good second half for them. They were 5 points behind, remember, at half-time. But following this little melee, it broke out to Vinnie Murphy, alert, vigilant, and sharp and incisive as well. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point game. Liam Hayes against David Foran. It runs on to Colin Brady. Hayes' partner at midfield. Jerry Horgan. Trying to close down his progress. Back to Hayes again. An inaccurate kick, however. And well outside the posts. Both sides now really having to take their chances in the last few minutes. There are 7 minutes to go. Horgan as Dublin play it short from the back. Held well, but then broke loose to Charlie Redmond. Colm O'Rourke, look where he is, back trying to hold up the progress of Charlie Redmond. Dublin win themselves the free. Barney Rock prepared to take the responsibility on his shoulders. Barney has pointed 3 frees so far for Dublin, all of them vital. 2 points the margin. This is a key kick, and that's a vital score. The bare minimum now between the teams. Meath were playing with such style and panache, one felt they had the title won. But Dublin had the resolve and the character to come back. And the selection of Barney Rock as a free kicker has been an inspired choice once again by Jerry McCall. He's done the business. Liam Hayes. Kicked clear by Charlie Redmond. Martin O'Connell. This is like an All-Ireland final all on its own. McDeegan waiting but letting the ball bounce from his grasp. Colm O'Rourke. Meath now trying to avail of the chances that come their way, but McKennedy picks it up for Dublin. Tommy Carr. They tried to peg back the leeway and get on level terms. Mick Lyons out there first to the ball ahead of Mick Galvin, and such was his intensity that he was fouled by Galvin. Another flashpoint, but by and large it has to be said they have been minor flashpoints this afternoon. It's never an easy match for a referee to handle, but this was excellent full-back play by Mick Lyons. Realising that Dublin had been getting the upper hand, he made a determined bid to get out in front of the full forward, and this was the follow-up play and the result of the skirmish. Martin O'Connell will realise that the forwards have got to get moving again inside the last 5 minutes if Meath is to win back the title. They lead by a point, and Colm O'Rourke can give them the leadership. PJ Gillick fisting it into space, but there's nobody responding quickly enough. Tommy Carr belting it out, but only as far as Bernard Flynn. This is a vital point if it's on its way, and it looks to be a good one. Bernard Flynn started the second half with a point, and now he's got the latest point. His second of the match comes with 4 minutes to go. 2 points between the teams, but a match which is far from over. Well claimed by David Foran. Towards Mick Galvin, whose jersey was being held by Mick Lyons, and the fullback concedes a free which Barney Rock should have the simplest of tasks in tapping it over the bar. Tommy Dowd has just gone off the Meath team, being congratulated by Sean Boylan, and the player who's come in is Jerry McEntee. Barney Rock has tapped it over the bar. A point the difference once again. 112, 15 points, Dublin 14. Jerry McEntee back from the United States, back in midfield. trying to inspire a little bit more life into the Meath attack. An engrossing Leinster final, full of spirit and commitment. This is Jerry McEntee, his first touch. But look at the number of Dublin players around him. That'll leave a couple of Meath players free. Bernard Flynn here. Colm O'Rourke. This is Stafford. What a great finale. Martin O'Connell back to Stafford. Trying to be absolutely sure with his kick. And he's absolutely inch perfect. Brian Stafford has kicked his 8th point of the afternoon. 2 from play, very vital ones, 6 from frees, and there are 2 points between the teams again. And look where Martin O'Connell was. The wing half was back there trying to feed the ball to Brian Stafford, and it was a deadly finish. Dublin trying to respond once again. There's a foul on Leo Close, a free for Dublin. Keith Barr is going to be the free taker. It's just outside Barney Rock's range, being about 60 metres out. Spread out, he says. Such commitment as Barr kicks it deep into the large parallelogram, fisted out towards Paul Clark. Oh, it's one that needed to be on target. It's Dublin's 4th wide of the second half, their 8th in all. We're inside the last minute. Are Meath about to reclaim their Leinster title from Dublin? A really good football match. Martin O'Connell, as Meath now try to embellish their lead, and it's Stafford first to the ball, laying it off for Beggy, taking it in his stride, kicking it confidently, and that looks to be a match winner. David Beggy has kicked his first point this afternoon. A goal between the teams. The Meath fans celebrating in the stands. They realised they had quite a fight, but Brian Stafford, who responded so quickly, fed it off to Beggy, and he kicked a beauty. Mick Kennedy, Dublin have to get a goal if they're to stay in the championship. And all of a sudden, Barney Rock was up there, trying to reach into that pass. Some brilliant scores, some great passages of play. A little controversy along the way as well. A goal after 30 seconds. And it's still all to play for as we are now into injury time. Tommy Carr. Dublin looking for the goal that would take this match probably to a replay. Charlie Redmond. Angle getting very tight. Half blocked down by Kevin Foley. The referee has a check on the watch. There's still time, but just a few seconds, I'd imagine. Heary spills loose to Liam Hayes, and it's all over. A tremendous Leinster final. The Royal County's 17th Leinster win. Meath regained the Leinster crown in a pulsating final as champions Dublin surrender their title to the reigning league champions, who book a date with Donegal in 3 weeks' time following this provincial win by 1 goal and 14 points to 14 points. Colm O'Rourke has just won his 4th Leinster medal for a player we thought at one stage would never win a Leinster, not to mention on All-Ireland. He lifts the Leinster Cup.
Well, try not to give us as many heart attacks the next time. When they get in front, stay well in front.
We were robbed. First ball should have been a free out.
Mick Lyons had a great game in the back. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, I think they're going to win the All-Ireland.
Meath had the first half. Meath had all the ball in the first half. Dublin won the whole second half. When Leo close to Molly, he changed the whole game. Dave Foreman was our man of the match. We could have done it. We threw away a lot of points away. You know?
Dublin missed their chances, sought the freeze in the first half there. Barney Rock and Close had been in a little sooner. It's likely that there could have been a draw. But I think that Meath picked up their chances very well, scored some excellent points in the second half and deserved to win.
Beggy won it for us. Paddy Collins, fair referee, very fair. Even though he's Jerry McEntee, when he came on, gave us that extra little boost. Everyone played very well. PJ Gillick played well. Martin O'Connell played well. They all played well.
Oh, well, we had 2 or 3 opportunities to score and freeze the first half. If they had gone over, the game would have been much tighter, much closer. It was an awful pity that they were missed. And Kieran, I think, tried to drop them in. I don't know whether he tried to put them over the bar, but it was a pity they didn't go over.
Meath, no problem. All Ireland, Cork, here we come!
Yeah, well, Roscommon might have something to say about that, but we'll see when Cork and Roscommon meet in the first of the football semi-finals in a fortnight's time. Meanwhile, Ger Canning was talking to some of the principals involved in one of the best Leinster finals in recent years.
It seemed to be far more open than any other Leinster final that I played in, and the quality of football was superb. There was a lot of good scores taken, and there was great heart shown by Dublin in particular, I suppose, to come back when all seemed lost for them.
During games like that, we had our period of domination before half-time, where we got our scores and we went in, 6-7 points up at half-time. Unfortunately for us, fortunately for Dublin, they got their period of domination early in the second half, nearly right through the second half in the last 10 minutes. We lost our way. They picked off the scores one after one and got within, I think, a point of us at one stage. But the last couple of scores, we got sealed victory, as you know.
I think what we were lacking at that stage was maybe a spark or somebody to do something. I thought a goal could have come. Really, we needed a goal because we would have got 1 or 2 points. We were going to stay scoring points, but Meath had it in their grasp to come down and keep just that little bit ahead. I felt we needed a goal at that stage.
But typical Dublin, full of character, full of fire, full of invention. Early on in the match, we got on top. We seemed to take the scores and take the scores well. And we had a great leader and a very comfortable lead, you would imagine. But there was something told you at the back of that Dublin were going to come. And when they did, they suddenly started picking off point after point after point. And then suddenly there was only a score in it. And I suppose it's typical of the character of this Dublin team. They're terribly well prepared and they kept trying something different. When I say that, because we held out, it seemed like it's all set praise for all. It's not that. It takes two to tango. It takes two to play a good game of football.
Well, the goal is obviously a talking point. Now, when I saw it in it originally, I thought it was a valid goal, but having looked at it again in replay after the match, there may well be a question that your left foot might have been inside the small rectangle as that ball was actually coming into the air, into the square. How did you see it?
Well, the ball was kicked in, I think, by Colin Brady, and the ball hung a long time in the air, and I was coming in running very fast, and I think John O'Leary probably knocked the ball back out off me into the net. I didn't know that much about where the ball hit me, but I don't think Dublin would be too worried about the legality or otherwise of the goal. To me, it seemed perfectly legal. I know that in a lot of cases like that, probably most referees would give a free out, but I think in this case the goal was legitimate.
It's a very difficult job for a referee in a situation that Paddy was in. He was on a no-win situation, and because if he gave something that seemed to favour me, I'm not sure why wouldn't he? Where he was born and reared, the usual carry on. And if he favoured Dublin, people saying he's trying to please them. I thought he handled it well. In the circumstances, it's very difficult. It's very difficult in any game when it's very close.
I haven't even thought about Donegal, to be quite honest about it, and I don't think anybody else in Meath has. But when we played them in the quarter-final of the league in Clonus, we were 6 points behind with 12 or 13 minutes to go. So nobody would be taking Donegal too lightly, that's for sure. I think that they gave us a major fright that day.
But tonight, Meath will savour their Leinster victory. Well done.
Well, I think that tonight we'll have a little bit of celebration, maybe paint the town green, not red.
I'm sure they will. Well, it's time for us now to say hello again to our guest analyst tonight. That's Roscommon captain Paul Early. Paul, you're very welcome. 54,000 people at Croke Park this afternoon. A great atmosphere and yet another good, solid, tough Leinster final.
Absolutely, a very close encounter right to the end. Common to all Leinster finals in recent years, a very close physical encounter, as you said. A little bit different in that in the second half it seemed as if Meath were going to walk away with it, but Dublin showed great character in coming back. Having said that, there was some superb skill shown on both sides today. There was fantastic high fielding in the middle of the park by Liam Hayes, by Vinnie Murphy, by David Foran, and indeed by Paul Clark. There were some superb scores taken as well, and the tackling in defence and in attack by both Meath and Dublin was superb right throughout the game.
It was interesting that both sides seemed to play better against the breeze than with it, which says something about the level of skill that they had.
That's right, yeah. They always say that a good team should play well against the breeze, and both sides worked the ball very well into the opposing attack against the breeze.
But when it all came down to it, Paul, for me anyway, the difference between the two sides was that Dublin in attack, they seemed to have to scratch and work for everything, where Meath over the 17 minutes were a much more fluent side.
That's right. Meath played direct football right throughout the game, whereas Dublin tended to over-elaborate, particularly in working the ball out from defence into midfield, and they carried the ball deep into the opponent's defence. Here we see an example where Charlie Redmond has a clear run at goal. He won a great ball, should have kicked it over the bar, passed it to Kieran Duff, was immediately surrounded by Meath defenders, and Meath run the ball out of defence, and a long kick here by Terry Ferguson. Another example here where Kieran Duff again involved, maybe should have tried to kick for a point there, passed it to Dave Foran, again putting him under pressure. And here we see the Meath defence tackling in a group, which is the hallmark of Meath right throughout the last few years. And playing the ball into defence like that is food and drink to the Meath defenders. Dublin should have learned from the last few Leinster finals that that's not the way to play the ball.
Let's take a look at Meath on the other hand. Now, this is the start of the second half. It was Dublin who needed the score here, with Meath just picked the first one off.
That's right. Again, Meath won the midfield. A direct ball by Colin Brady, broken by Colm O'Rourke, and Bernard Flynn, a superb point with his left
half
foot.
a look out of his eye and it's over.
Absolutely, superb point. Another example here, Martin O'Connell from defence, a long ball into the opponent's attack. Brian Stafford wins. First time ball, and David Beggy knocks it over the bar. That's really the way that Meath have played right throughout the last number of years, and it's been very successful for them.
Well, Paul, Colm O'Rourke said that Dublin mightn't be too worried about the legality of the goal. I'm not too sure about that. The goal, of course, was the big talking point in this match, and we've just seen it there. I think we'll take another look at that goal again, because there was a big question mark out of it. It was the big score in today's game. And well, let's have a look at it again. We're going to stop the play. We'll have a look at it in normal motion first. And I thought at the time that it was a legal goal. I didn't have any doubts about it. But as Gerard Canning said, when you look at it again a second time, well, maybe you're not too sure. Colin Brady plays the ball in. Now, you might take it up for here, and we'll stop the play just as the ball comes into the square.
That's right. There are 2 points to consider here. The first thing is, was Colm O'Rourke in before the ball?
There's the ball top of screen.
And we see the ball circled up there. That's one of the major points. It appears that his foot may have been in the parallelogram.
If we just run that insert on another little bit, because the ball then drops down, and it's not there, sorry, we don't have it for the moment.
Right.
But it then drops down. There's the question then of the challenge.
That's right. That's another point that we have to raise, in that was there a challenge on the goalkeeper? Having said that, and it appears that there was, because John O'Leary fell back into the net.
He was taken off his feet.
Taken off his feet, absolutely. But Colm O'Rourke had his eye on the ball right throughout the flight, and it was a very difficult decision for Paddy Collins, and really Dublin may feel a little bit aggrieved at the end of the day, but it's a really dicey one.
Sure, yeah. OK, Paul, who did you pick as your man of the match from this game?
Well, again, like in every other game, there were a number of contenders. For Dublin, I thought Vinnie Murphy played particularly well in the second half. Leo Close was a revelation when he came on. Midfield was dominant right throughout. For Meath, the defence as a unit played particularly well. You couldn't really pick out anybody in particular there. Up front, Brian Stafford had a superb game. But I'm going to give it to a member of the losing team today. I thought Dave Foran was magnificent right throughout today. I felt that when Dublin needed inspiration and leadership in the second half, that he was the man who gave it to them. He caught some tremendous ball, ran deep into the defence, worked hard, worked tirelessly throughout, and I think that he deserves his man of the match award today.
Well, when it looked as though Dublin might come back and take over this game, you say to yourself, who was the man that inspired it? Dave Foran would have been the man if he was on the winning side, but a man of the match performance nonetheless from him. OK, Paul, thank you very much for joining us in the programme tonight. Well, a great day then for Meath, and as Miles Dungan underlines for us now with a review of today's scorelines.